Good morning and welcome to the Meltdown. I hope you're having a great day. The weather outside here in the Houston area, absolutely gorgeous. Folks, I want to say a short prayer or have you think about the people that have been affected by Mother Nature. Those in the Philippines, those up in Washington, Illinois. The wrath sometimes for Mother Nature is really unexpected. It happens quickly. And so just a short thought about all those people, and please keep them in your prayers today as we move forward and they start to try to rebuild their lives. Heavy on my heart is what's happening in the economy. And as I see the Dow penetrate 16,000, it was a short blip yesterday, but today clearly trading over 16,000. Market quote right now, 16,023, up 47 points. Gold is on the rise. Silver and the other metals will follow suit. My biggest concern is the 10-year Treasury as we start to see interest rates move forward. Now, folks, it's important that you understand that nothing is happening, quote, to save the economy. Economic policy is costing us over $1 trillion a year. The method of QE, that's another $1 trillion. We've got interest payments due not just to ourselves, but to those people who have propped up our economy and kept the market moving. Now, we all know that Detroit, quote, is on the bubble and prepared to go into bankruptcy. The people who have lost their retirement benefits are at risk. And there are certain cities around the country that have gotten themselves into a predicament. There are certain cities, Oakland, California, cut a deal with the big bankers, and to pay their way out of the debt that they've incurred is a $15 million payoff. That's to break the contract and get out so that they're not making those interest payments. However, if you look at Chicago, they're the next ones. And Chapter 9 filings are coming faster and faster. You and I have to be smarter than the market. And it's a cliche that I've used. It's no longer a cliche. It's the honest-to-God fact that people have a unique concern for their wealth, their families, their futures, and they should, because everything that's being said out there, when you look in between the lines, is the reality that millions and billions of dollars are being moved around to protect the wealthy. Here in the United States, 1% of Americans control 20% of the wealth. And the last time we saw this kind of a disparity between the executives and the, quote, blue-collar worker was 1929. That was the brink of the Great Depression. Now, I know this is going to sound like a little bit of gloom and doom, and I understand that. The gold to silver ratio is 62.5 to 1. We're still seeing platinum at a 10 to 1 premium. A 10% premium over the price of gold. And while gold is plentiful today, while you can still get your hands around thousands, maybe tons of silver, the market can change in a moment. And I mean, overseas, buying can take place so fast that the big warehouses, which are now down near their bottoms, there's not enough metal to go out there and cover all this. And so you see big investors like George Soros or John Paulson actively trading in the mining shares. They're trading in GLD or SLV. I mean, keep in mind, Paulson's trading in what would be the equivalent of over 10 million ounces of gold. Unfortunately, it's all paper. And that's the reality of where this economy is today. So what my message is, what I'm going to insinuate, and I'm going to put out there, is that today's rally in the gold, which isn't much of a rally, is affecting the price of oil. Oil's trading at $93 a barrel, West Texas Intermediate. Now, with the dollar up, there are still mixed currency transactions out there. This should be a day where you see the euro dropping against the dollar when the dollar's going up. That's not happening. The pound, the franc, the rupee, the Mexican peso, the Aussie dollar, all trading up as gold is trading up. That's not how it works. The dollar's moving up. They're supposed to move down, but the trading is at chaotic levels. Now, it is a little bit of gloom and doom. Unfortunately, it's more reality. And so for those of us that have been gold bugs, when I look at the pie and I say your pie is 100% full, you should be taking somewhere between 15 and 40% of the pie and moving it over. And I like rarer coins. It is a continued affirmation after the auction the other day of a 1796 25-cent piece bringing $1.5 million. That coin was purchased in the 30s for $100. Folks, this is why the wealthy get wealthier. And yes, there's no doubt that the $1.5 million has lost value as the dollar's diminished in its value, and there's nothing backing it but, quote, the full faith and credit of the U.S. government. Not much credit there. But it's the bubble markets. I reiterate it over and over and over. When you look at the stock market, when you look at the art market, when you look at the jewelry market, when you look at the real estate bubble and what the banks have created and the fact that it's all a bubble, bubbles burst. And when they do, they come running into the safe haven of gold because gold is security. Silver is absolutely mandatory. And I've got clients that own a lot of gold and a lot of silver. And while storage becomes an issue over time, the reality of time is that you need to have a diversified portfolio. And I'm not at all insinuating that you clear out all of your real estate, all of your stocks, all of your bonds. Never. That's not my message. My message is move the comfortable portion into a rainy day account. Just like we all used to have passbook accounts, and of course I'm aging myself when I say back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and we could get 5.25% yield. Today you're lucky if you're out there getting more than 1% over a year's period. And yes, you can tie your money up for 4 or 5 years. And yes, you'll find an institution that'll give you a stronger rate of return. Of course, that rate of return is taxable. And as a taxable event, you've got to understand it's about looking for a means and a way to avoid all that. It's imperative that you find a way. And so this is the safe haven. It's the way that I look for other types of assets that will ensure or assure value down the road. Now, I have been on a soapbox for probably the last year or so talking about commemorative coins. Now, it's so important that a monthly supplement into our industry is talking about acquiring the most scarce and classic of the commemorative half dollars. It's probably a little over a couple of pages. It gets into talking about the Boone half dollars. Talks about the Arkansas Centennials. We talk about Oregon Trail. We talk all the time about Texas half dollars. And folks, I'm going to tell you that there are companies out there that are looking to loan as much as $10 million against collections. So people understand that there's value in this commodity. And when the coins are graded by either NGC or PCGS, you find yourself in a market that's always liquid. Pay the premium, own the super rare, the super attractive coins, whether it's the plus sign or the star or a CAC sticker, that's the little green or the little gold football. You own coins that other people want, and it's easy to see the trend, and that's what I want to be able to talk about. Now, if you've got a pen and a piece of paper, I want you to jot down some numbers and my email address. I want to talk to you. You can call here in the Houston market, and if you've got a digital phone line, there's no long distance charge any longer. That's 281-548-2646, 281-548-2646. Hit option 0, and that way you don't get caught in the phone system. You can call toll free. That's 877-705-2646. 877-705-2646. You can visit themeltdown.com. There are well over 500 shows, probably in excess of 400 hours, but I'll ask Michael, since he's sitting across from me, to look that one up so I can make a fair assessment come the afternoon show. But folks, We edit out the commercials. We come to you with a clear, concise, and logical message where I'm going to analyze markets. You can go back and look what I've been talking about for years. Most gloom and doomers, most coin companies tried to scare their customers into doing something. Today, it's not a question of me trying to hype the market. I don't have to tell you how bad things are. When retailers are talking at holiday time that we may be in one of the worst economies, one of the worst holiday seasons on record, and certainly going back before 2008, you should be concerned. My concern, JP Morgan is talking about working out a $13 billion settlement with the Department of Justice. Folks, $13 billion sounds like a drop in the bucket, but for a company that brings its declaration of profit on an annual basis to $20 billion, $13 billion is a big chunk of their reserve money. Now, I want to talk about oil for a second because you are driving around town and you see what's happening. Gas prices are moving up. I've got the two stations that I always talk about here in the Humble area. They always fight with each other. One is charging 10 cents a gallon more than the other. It's right across the street. And it doesn't seem like a lot of money. I understand that. But on a tank of gas, if you're driving an SUV, that could be $2.50 or $3, almost another gallon of gas. And folks, the disparity between West Texas Intermediate and Brent C crude continues to spread. The concerns are global. And I certainly am watching what's going on in the auto industry. Automakers are offering loans, they're taking in trades. The market is just being manipulated. And when you understand the amount of manipulation in a market, that's when you start wanting to move forward and do some things differently. Now, I know of an insurance company that runs TV commercials and they talk about maybe we ought to do things different. You probably need to. You need to understand that a 16,000 Dow doesn't mean that we won't find 17,000. The question is, between today and 2 or 3 years from now, how big is the correction? How many times is the board, the Dow Jones board, going to change the companies that make up the Dow to make it sound so much better? Now, I can tell you firsthand, it's going to happen over and over and over. And if you've got something you want to chat with me about, visit themeltdown.com or go to Ustream. And when you go to Ustream, register for themeltdown.com. You can certainly chat with me live as we do the show. Of course, if you're watching at themeltdown.com, you're obviously in a position where you can watch what I'm saying. It's live action. Michael puts it back up on the internet so you can look at the shows, compare the notes, and understand what's going on. We've got a very heavy inventory. In the inventory, I do not maintain inexpensive positions because of the volatility. On any given day, there could be 10 to 25,000 in bullion material that's here. On other occasions, you might find yourself with an inventory of a few 100,000 in the rare coin market. All of it is something that's been hand selected. It's something that you should own and we should talk about. And it's important to talk about it. It's important to have it available. And when you've got it in your hand and you can put it in a safe place, that's the most important thing. I want coins in your safe. I want coins in the ground. I want coins in vacuum-packed bags. I want you to be able to own things that other people want, because when you get to that point, you start to understand that the economy is improving. And as the economy in the metals markets improve, you start to want to get heavier and heavier and heavier in the position. Now, I've got clients, I've talked about it, that gave me as much as $60,000 earlier this calendar year. And because they followed a third, and a third, and they didn't do it their way, they're ahead by major percentages, 10 to 15%. That's a huge number, because if you're spending $60,000 and the difference in your portfolio may be $20,000, that's a huge benefit. And so the fact that you don't understand every in and out, folks, I'm here to educate you. I'm here to answer your questions. Now, you can email me. That's Brett, B-R-E-T-T, at thegoldexchange.net. B-R-E-T-T, please put on the second T. I get so many resends because people don't log it in properly. But folks, this is that time. It's been the time, and I'm not looking to try to time the market. I can't tell you if silver's going to go back under $19 any more than I can tell you the day it's going to hit 50, 60, or 70. People want to own gold. The premium on a fractional gold piece runs 7 to 15% higher than on a 1 ounce gold piece. And it's just the way the market works. It's the U.S. Mint. So if you're doing business with somebody, and frankly, you're looking to make, I don't know, you want to chisel over a few points, I'm probably going to tell you to do business with the other guy. Ultimately, I don't try to begrudge anybody of making a profit. I just begrudge people who excessively mark up stuff and they don't have the ability to justify it. I have some hand-selected silver dollars. I show them to my clients all the time. Coins, whether they grade in Mint State 63, Mint State 65, or Mint State 66, Morgan dollars. You can look at the coins and you can tell that the 64s and the 65s look better than the 66. From all of the technical analysis to the luster. And when you see coins that look finer than the highest graded coin, I want to own those, because somewhere down the road you're going to realize a profit far in excess of what the coin was marked originally. Yes, that may be my profit margin, but I'll show you the sheets, I'll show you the information, I'll disclose the markups, the spreads, the commissions. I don't have a problem with it. What I do have a problem with is the scare tactic that everything's got to be pre-1933. That's not true. A 1935 peace dollar, if it was, say, in Mint State 65 or in Mint State 66, oh, I'm using the cheat sheet. I want to make sure that I give you accurate information out there. A Mint State 60, well, let's see if we get ourselves where I want to be. Mint State 66 Morgan silver dollar is currently trading over $300. A really nice Mint State 65 with a CAC sticker and the old Rattler holder just sold for $1,500. Now, don't tell me that the 65 is worth less than the 66 because of the grade, because someone paid 500% more for the lower grade coin than they did the higher grade coin. And I look at a 1796 $2.50 gold piece. If you can make out the detail, the coin's worth in excess of $55,000 to $65,000. I love early gold. And I was in the room the night that the Franklin half dollar sold. Oh, it's probably been 10 years now. But that coin brought over 60 grand. The next morning at the auction, I saw early 1800 dated gold that was uncirculated selling for in the neighborhood of $6,000 to $8,000. Folks, you could have owned 10 of those coins for what this one guy paid for one Franklin half dollar. At that point, I'd probably rather have the early gold uncirculated than a Franklin half dollar. If you're set building and the coin was a key, that would be different. But it was somebody who got started by collecting modern coinage. So modern coins are numismatic. President Reagan signed Public Law 99-185. That's the law that authorized the Treasury to begin making gold, and then silver was added, then platinum was added a decade later. The coins were deemed to be numismatic. And folks, there are rare coins that have been struck since 1986. The 1995 West Point silver dollar in proof, that coin in any condition is worth over $3,000 as long as it hasn't been damaged. And if you can get one in a PCGS 70 holder, I've seen the coin sell for over $86,000. I've seen the NGC coin trade in the neighborhood of $15,000 to $20,000. And so who grades coins matters. What the representations are, they matter. And if you've got a relationship with somebody out in the community and you're happy with the relationship and you just periodically want to check up on them and make sure that they're doing their job effectively and accurately, call us 281-548-2646. That's 281-548-2646. Hit option 0. Avoid the nasty phone system or leave a message. We'll be more than happy to call you back. People get trapped in it all the time. Now, folks, it's important to understand different types of coins, and if you're not sure of all of the intricacies that I've talked about, you certainly want to be able to give me a call, send me an email, go to the website. You can go to themeltdown.com and find the old shows. You can go to the platform of companies that Michael's been working on with the different banner ads, whether that's the Gold Exchange, Eagle Numismatics. I don't care who you go read and look up. Before you pull the trigger and start buying, give me a shout. Let me be there to help you. Folks, it's a simple way to move, but you need to start moving because, frankly, I suspect when everybody else turns, the herd, and Americans have a herd mentality. Now that the Dow is through 16,000, you'll see more people want to jump in and get on the bandwagon, and that's just part of the process. I'm not going to begrudge the process. What I am going to begrudge is the fact that you all get caught up in the chaos of what's happening, and frankly, typically you find the herd start to run. So gold is up, oil is up a little bit, the Dow's pulled back a few more points. It's going to be an active market. You're going to see people who thrive and make tons of money. Unfortunately, you're going to see a lot of failure out there. And when I talk about failure, I'm talking about the world economy starting to withdraw. I'm talking about the IMF concerned about what's going on. China has agreed that if you're a single male, you can now start to have 2 children. It's been something that they've monitored and stopped growth for a long time. Well, guess what? That's changing. And so we've got people that are being affected by the decisions in Congress. We're talking about major issues in global economy. And if you want to reach retirement, then you better be smarter than everybody else. Part of that is the diversification in rare coins and precious metals. Now, folks, I don't ever want to get off air without talking about Texas Children's Hospital, both the Downs Clinic and the Ronald McDonald House. These are 2 separate foundations that mean a great deal to me personally. I've been affected by what they do, how they do it, and the compassion that they have for our children. The Downs Clinic has moved outside of the Fannin campus, a little bit south of the Myers Center. Dr. Ostermeyer and her staff deal with a great deal of children and the different ailments, whether it's Downs, autism. They are truly affecting our children in our community to a positive situation. The Ronald McDonald House at Texas Children's is on the 4th floor. There are 20 rooms and they house between 20 and 60 people every night so that families can visit their children in all hours of the night, whether they're in ICU, NICU, neonatal, or pediatric PICU. Folks, these are people that really do share compassion. If you can provide a hot meal, please call 832-824-8600. That's 832-824-8600. Nancy Allen and her staff will be more than happy to accommodate you. At the Downs Clinic, if you just visit themeltdown.com, you can make financial donations or tithes. The information is totally anonymous for me, but I appreciate your assistance. Please mention the Meltdown when you make a donation or a phone call. I appreciate the doctors, the nurses, the staff, and of course the volunteers all throughout Texas Children's, the medical center, and all throughout the globe. They are our future and they need our love and compassion. Folks, I'll be back in about 2:15 to 2:30. I'll tell you what's been going on during the past 4 hours of trading. Appreciate you listening in. We'll see you a little bit later this afternoon. I hope you'll email me, Brett, BRETT, @thegoldexchange.net. Have a great day. God bless you all.